With money becoming more of a concern for many War Thunder players and Gaijin releasing $75 premiums now for Rank 8 Air, I think it's time to make a video about what is actually worth buying within War Thunder. The goal of this video is to help more of you make better money decisions when it comes to War Thunder, because I know it can be overwhelming on what is worth it. Since I have been playing War Thunder since 2013, I feel at this point at least, I know what is needed and what is not needed whenever it comes to spending money on the game. With that being said, this isn't financial advice. At the end of the day, it is the money that you earned, and you should be able to do whatever you really want to with it whenever it comes to the hobbies that you enjoy. So before we go into the best ways to spend your money on War Thunder, let's go over a list you should most likely avoid whenever it comes to spending money on the game. So the first thing that you should avoid is spending Golden Eagles on Silver Lions. As we know now, Silver Lions really isn't an issue within the game. If you run a basic premium account, basically you can never run out of Silver Lions, because whenever you do badly within a game, you still will retain whatever you had. You cannot lose any anymore. The next thing for number 2 is buying insanely expensive marketplace vehicles. As we know, there's a ton of vehicles on the War Thunder marketplace. Many of them are not really worth what they're trying to actually get out of them. Many of them are within, the realm of like $600 or $700, especially stuff like the Object 279, which in my opinion just is not worth it at all. The third thing that you should avoid buying within War Thunder is modules on the vehicles that you're currently playing. Now, I do understand that there can be a competitive advantage if you want to buy an APFSDS, for example, or you want to buy your air missiles just so you can get them earlier. But at the same time, if you're going to be playing a vehicle very consistently and you're going to be playing it to where you would spade it anyway, there's not really a reason to go after, I would say, tertiary mods, like getting like your engine upgrades and all that sort of stuff, because at a certain point you will get that automatically by just playing the vehicle. So you're kind of just wasting your GE doing that. At the same time, I do understand it can give you a little bit of a competitive advantage, especially if you're doing like thermals, or you're doing laser rangefinder for ground, for example, or you're just going for like, better airframes and G suits and all sorts of stuff air. But at the same time, just try not to actually buy your modules if you don't have to, because it is a huge sink whenever it comes to your Golden Eagles, and for many vehicles you can just get them ground out and spaded while just playing them. So I don't really think there's a huge reason to just go ahead and G a vehicle if you don't really need to at the end of the day, I think. The fourth thing that you should never buy within War Thunder is spending Golden Eagles to boost your RP. Now, this is completely just a misuse of Golden Eagles in the game. It is really not worth it to actually do this, because once again, you're kind of defeating the purpose of the game. If you're just buying, your Golden Eagles to then just spend it on, RP and stuff, well, then you run into an issue of maybe you won't have enough Silver Lions, and then you have to buy that. And then also, you can use those Golden Eagles to get a premium or get something that could last you a very long while, instead of just G'ing tech tree vehicles. It's very much not worth it at the end of the day of things. I do understand, for some people, they really just want to get to top tier, or they really just want to get to a certain vehicle. If you have the patience in War Thunder, you just wait a minute and actually just kind of just do it at a measly pace, it would be way better on your wallet and way better on your sanity, other than just like going and saying, hey, I need to just get to top tier or something like that, or I need to get my F-16 or something like that. It's something that a lot of people fall into the trap of they just need to get something new every single second when you're playing the game. But whenever you play War Thunder at a more leisurely pace, it is way better to just play the game. Have other goals in mind of fading vehicles, or do other things. You do not need to spend your money on boosting RP towards vehicles. It is completely a waste of money, and there's very much other things in this game that you can buy that would just improve your playstyle and improve your game performance way more than just going for like just one vehicle that you currently prefer. So, and then finally, we have buying Golden Eagle loot boxes. Do I really need to say more about this? You have the 2 loot boxes that come around, the one being in the item shop within War Thunder currently, and then during certain events, you have GE loot boxes that you're able to buy to get some talismans and premiums and all sorts of stuff out of them as well. Both of these things are just a scam. They're not worth doing. At the end of the day of things, you really just need to spend your Golden Eagles on stuff that you want. Most of these loot boxes that you will open, you'll get something that you probably didn't even want, and it's going to be very rare that you're actually going to given something that you would use and that you would actually prefer. Just save up, the money for it whenever there's a sale for War Thunder, and don't gamble. It's just a waste of time. And then at the end of the day, there's very few people who actually benefit from this. But who are the people who do benefit a ton from this? Gaijin, because they get the money at the end of the day. So to sum it up, if you spend money on any of these 5 things within War Thunder, you're wasting your money when it comes to War Thunder. Many of these things you can get by just grinding the game, legitly, and just kind of going at a leisurely pace. Majority of these things that you really don't need, like for example, if you go to the War Thunder market and you try to get you an Object 279, that thing's like $618 right now. That is not going to do anything for you within the game. And even if you buy it, you're not going to be happy with it, because you just paid literally a car payment or a virtual vehicle. So definitely isn't something that I completely say stay away from if you are playing War Thunder. And then you also know gambling is just bad. Before we get into the best ways to spend money on War Thunder, let's first talk about how to save money on the game, because that is technically possible. If you didn't know, War Thunder has 4 major sales throughout the year. Many different sales have different items on sale whenever it comes to these sales, but majority of the time you will have sales on the Gaijin packs, you'll have them on in-game actual vehicles, and as well as the big one which will go on sale is premium accounts. So it's definitely a worthwhile time to actually be playing the game at that point to just see if you can pick up stuff on sale that you really want to get throughout the game. Some of these discounts for at least the pack vehicles and as well as the in-game vehicles can range from 35% all the way to 75% if there's a really good sale going on, but majority of the time you will see something around the 50%, which will be the average of the sales. Now, to put a general idea of when these sales will come to War Thunder, you have the May sale, which is the Victory Day sale. You have the end of June, which is going to be the summer sale. You have the War Thunder anniversary sale, which is in late October. And finally, you have the winter sale, which will be in the late December time. You do have smaller sales like the Black Friday sale, for example, but these 4 sales will be the best times to actually buy items within the game whenever it comes to War Thunder. So for the next way to save within War Thunder, it's a little bit of a smaller one, only being around 3%, but it's using content creator discount codes to actually get you a 3% discount whenever you buy something on the War Thunder store. Now, the catch with the War Thunder store is that if something is already on discount, like let's just say that you have a War Thunder sale during like the anniversary sale, for example, and you want to use a CC discount code, it sadly will not add the 3% to the discount, which is currently already on offer. Now, at the end of the day, the content creator still does get a little bit of kickback from it. So if you do want to support your favorite content creator whenever you're buying stuff within the game, I highly recommend it. And I'll also leave a link in the description of this video and as well as a pinned comment of where you can actually see a spreadsheet of all the content creator codes. Because if you didn't know, you also get a decal for, actually buying through these codes. Now, you can't just buy from your favorite content creator all the time, but for me at least, what I would recommend, even though I don't have a code yet, is just going down through the list and collecting all of the decals that you personally can. As we know, there's some CCs which just quit or that want to get pulled out of the program. If you get a decal before that actually happens, you get to keep it as long as you got it before then. As we know, there's been CCs that's done that where they've left the program and then the decal is pretty much lost forever and you will never be able to get it again. So if you're buying things within War Thunder, you might as well get a free decal with it whenever you're trying to actually get something. And then you also get a little bit of kickback towards the content creator side of it, which I think is really cool. Finally, we are now on to what I would personally spend my own money on whenever it comes to War Thunder, and the last one being the most definite thing that I think everyone whenever it comes to War Thunder should actually buy. So firstly, I think one of the big things that people heavily overlook is actually the use of talismans within War Thunder. So if you don't know what a talisman is, it's basically making a tech tree vehicle into like a little pseudo premium. Now, there are some downsides to it, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but at the same time, you got to think of it in this way. You can play a tech tree vehicle for free. You can see how you perform in it. You can see how you do in it. You can see just if it's a vehicle that you would prefer to play for a very long time. And so talisman, that vehicle that you already know you can do well in, could be a huge positive whenever it comes to actually finding a vehicle or a premium that you currently like. Because as we do know, you can't test out a pack premium or you can't test out a GA premium unless it's in the Gaijin, like a little like warbond shop or something like that. So at the end of the day of things, it might actually be worth, instead of gambling on the fact of will you actually like a vehicle, because even looking up, like statistics and looking up, videos of people actually going and playing these vehicles, sometimes vehicles are just not for you. There's a ton of them, for me at least, within War Thunder that I felt like that, of where I've seen other people do really well in them, but for me at least, I'm just not a huge fan of it. So definitely whenever you go look at the vehicles that you play, if you find one that you prefer, you find one that you do extremely well in, it may be worth actually just talismaning that vehicle instead of actually buying a premium within that battle rating or battle bracket or even rank. The only real downside to a talisman vehicle compared to a premium vehicle is that it does not get an increase to its silver linings earnings, and it also can only research +1 -1 whenever it comes to rank, unlike a premium vehicle which can go +1 minus whatever the vehicle it actually is. So if a premium within War Thunder, if it's a rank 5 premium, it can research everything up to rank 6 plus everything below it. But if you have a rank 5 just talisman vehicle, for example, you can only research up to rank 6 and rank 4, which can be a little bit of a red flag for some of you of what you currently just want to do within the game. But honestly, if you're doing very well with a vehicle, it is very much worth talismaning it whenever there is a War Thunder sale going on. The next thing I'll say is worth it is when premiums and as well as premium packs are on sale. Now, I know it can be incredibly hard to wait, but it's totally worth it at the end of the day. Now, I'm going to use the example of the F20 Tiger Shark, which is coming in the next major update of War Thunder, and by the time this video is actually out, it might actually already be here, so we might have to just see what kind of happens with that. But the earliest this vehicle currently can go on sale will be the winter sale of 2024. So if you didn't know, War Thunder has a kind of hidden rule, I guess we could call it, of around 3 to 4 patches before a vehicle will be able to be qualified to be on sale. So if you can wait until the winter sale of this year, and just depending on if they change it or not, you can get the Tiger Shark, where instead of $75, which I think is incredibly insane for what it is, you will maybe even get a 50% discount, which will drop that $75 all the way down to $37. So it is definitely just worth waiting on these vehicles, especially if you don't need them for grinding out the tree. And to be quite honest with you, the F20 Tiger Shark, to me at least, is not a great grinder. The F5C, which has been, on sale a lot more than this vehicle has, to me at least, would still be able to grind the tech tree very reliably compared to the F20 Tiger Shark. And even the F20 Tiger Shark coming into the game, we still don't even know how it's really going to perform yet, because no one has had access to it on the live server yet. Which is another tip. Don't pre-order anything whenever it comes to War Thunder. Now, you may say, dog, there's like a decal one or something like that. Once again, it's your money. You can do what you want to with it. But pre-ordering within War Thunder, especially if you're not even seen it live on the dev server yet, is a big no-no, because as we know, vehicles can change. They can come into the game with something that you don't prefer with them. They can be nerfed, they can be buffed, they can do yada yada. The whole 9 yards whenever it comes to that sort of thing. So definitely just wait until it's on the dev server, at least to pre-order, to make sure it's a vehicle that you would preferably want whenever it comes to the game. And that's just like another tip generally you should follow within the game. The same logic does go for premiums that you can buy for GE. The same thing should happen with where they have like 3 to 4 updates of where they will never be on sale. But soon around that 3 to 4 updates goes away, you would then be able to pick up that vehicle for, discounted G, whether it be 35%, whether it be 25%, whether it be, 75% if you're really, really lucky. But at the end of the day, patience is what wins, War Thunder. If you're able to just stay patient, you're able to spend way less on the game. And maybe it's like you're not going to get the peak performance or the peak hype around the F20, but at the same time, instead of spending $75, you're now able to spend $37, and then you can even put that extra money into premium time for War Thunder, or put it into something else that you want to get during the sale. So patience is a big key to these War Thunder sales, or War Thunder just premiums, as well as just everything. If you can be patient, you will succeed at saving money within this game. Trust me. So I do think we need to talk about actual downsides of premiums, because they do have some. So buying premiums, they only limit you to the tech tree that you currently want to grind. So if you buy, let's just say, a BF109 premium for Germany and you want to grind America, that BF109 will do absolutely nothing for you within the American tech tree. Now, at the same time, if you buy a ground vehicle, you can actually use a ground vehicle to research a helicopter now, which is kind of interesting. But your vehicle will only be applied to that current tech tree that you're grinding out. So if you buy a plane, it really won't help you whenever it comes to naval. If you buy a tank, it won't help you whenever it comes to aircraft. There's kind of like a thing that you need to note about it, is that it can only grind out its current thing unless it's a ground vehicle, which can also grind out helicopters. The next thing I would buy in War Thunder is crew skills, even though I really do hate to say it because it is pay to win. Crew skills are really OP. Some of them are just really good. If you have a maxed out crew within War Thunder, or even an ace crew, you're just going to perform better than the people around you if they do not have their crew skills actually up. Crew skills give you the access to faster reloads. They give you access to faster repair times. And for aircraft, you're even given more Gs that you can pull. And also, whenever you land your aircraft on an airfield, for example, you can get repaired and rearmed faster than someone who does not have that, which can be extremely pay to win. The okay thing, I guess, for crew skills is that you don't need everything at once. Majority of the things that you need are just reload, repair time, view tolerance, stamina, all these things whenever it comes to the vehicle itself. But at the end of the day, you can grind these out for free. So the thing about it is that you go for the ones which are very important first, which honestly, in some people's opinion, they would recommend actually just G'ing them, because if you look at like a 0 rank crew, for example, in this video right now, for just 100 golden eagles, I'm almost able to max out my reload speed whenever it comes to the loader, which will just make my vehicle reload faster than everyone else around me at the BR that I'm currently playing at, if they themselves don't have their reload actually maxed out. The only problem with crew skills, at least, is for aircraft, they're relatively easy to get, because majority of the time you're just going to have one squad slot as an aircraft. But for ground forces, since you have many opportunities to spawn within the ground forces game, it can make it a little bit harder to actually get your crew skills up. And even for naval, it's kind of the same thing. You may have multiple spawns of where, you would need to actually, diverse your crew points out. Now, each slot that you have within War Thunder has its own set of crew points, but the point I'm trying to make here is that for aircraft, at least, you're just playing one crew slot. So all of your crew points will most likely just go into that area. For your tanks, at least, they're going to go into their individual ones, which means that for at least ground forces, it's very hard to actually max out a crew whenever it comes to just playing the game legitly. So honestly, if you want a competitive advantage, and I really hate to say it, it's very much worth spending a couple dollars on your crew skills, because you're able to get an advantage whenever it comes to reload and as well as repair time. And it just overall is just, to me at least, a good use of Golden Eagles, but at the same time, it just sucks that it is. At last, we're at our final item to spend your money on in War Thunder, and it's the most important one, and it's the one I saved it for last, because if you're to this point in this video, you definitely are looking for ways to save money within War Thunder, and this is the #1 way and the #1 thing to actually buy every single year that you play this game, and that is premium time. So premium time in War Thunder applies to everything that you do, whether it be just killing a target on the ground, whether it be landing, whether it be anything that you do. RP and SL wise, it will just increase because you're paying for premium account, right? But there's also other abilities that premium account have now that gives you more access to abilities which are just completely overpowered for what they are whenever it comes to actually grinding the game. So with the economy updates of last year, whenever it comes to War Thunder, premium account has been given a really good feature whenever it comes to SL. So if you didn't know now, with premium account, as long as it's active on your account, as long as you do not team kill or do anything nefarious whenever it comes to, team killing is pretty much the only way that you can lose SL. Let's just say that you take off and you crash on your airfield. You don't have to pay anything whenever it comes to your silver lions. Now, the only thing about it is that you do not gain anything. So even let's just say that you gain 3,000 silver lions, but technically your repair cost was 4,000 silver lions, you don't gain anything. So you're at the end of battle screen still will be 0. So it's better than losing anything, but at the same time, even if you do still poorly within your game, you still will not get anything whenever it comes to SL. But with premium time, honestly, that's pretty hard to do whenever it comes to the game. You have to do something really stupid to get nothing whenever it comes to your games anymore. Some other features of premium account is that you're able to actually ban maps, and you're also able to like maps. So if you have a preferred map that you love to play with in War Thunder, you can like it. And if you don't like a maps like Berlin, for example, you can ban it. And it's one of the best things that you can actually do within the game if you don't like to play on a particular map. So to sum it up, a premium account is the most important thing that you can get within War Thunder. Now, I do know some people are going to say, well, dog, a premium account is a thing that kind of just runs out on its own. You have no control over it. At the same time, I feel like even though it runs out, if you just have it active and you're going to consistently play War Thunder, for a good amount of time, it is one of the best investments that you can get within the game. Even if you miss like a week or a month or something like that throughout the year, a year premium is one of the best investments you can make whenever it comes to grinding stuff, whenever it comes to anything within the game. A year premium, whenever it comes on sale for a 50% discount, and this is when I would buy a year premium, is whenever it is at that 50% discount in game, will only be $42. So $42 for the whole entire year, 365 days of premium account, which to me is an insanely good deal. I mean, even if you want to round it up and you want to see what you're paying per day in War Thunder of just buying the 1 year premium, you're paying around 9 pennies. Think about that, 9 pennies for a single day within War Thunder. And if you just want to buy a single day from the store, it's like $1. So the math adds up, if you know what I mean. And if you want to do it by month, you're only paying like $3.50 per month to have a premium account within the game, which honestly is just the best thing that you can buy. And if you want to know why it's like this, I'm just going to tell you guys the marketing gimmick here. They want you to keep playing the game because guess what? If you keep playing the game, even with just premium account, you are more likely to buy something else within the game because it's a purchase that you made. So definitely kind of look at that. But at the same time, premium account is one of the only things that I would say is almost required for War Thunder now. It is very much one of the easiest things to do or to get. It's only going to be about $42 if you get it on a sale. And even if you don't have money to actually spend on this sort of thing, you can use the Gaijin market or use different things like your Xbox rewards or something like that to get premium for a whole year. So it's definitely worth it. 100% agree. It is the #1 thing that you should buy within War Thunder. So to sum it up, premium account, #1, it's good. I would get it. And if you want to know more things about War Thunder and more tips, make sure to check out this video in the top right of this video right now. It's how to actually look at some weak spots on some tanks within the game. And maybe you might not know some of these, and some of these you may know already. So definitely check that video out, and I'll see you guys in the next War Thunder video.